station you count on for local news that matters. This is KARK 4 News at 6.
Developing story as military bases across the United States and right here in Arkansas are increasing their security protocols. Good evening, I'm Bob Clausen.
And I'm Ashley Katz. KARK4's Melissa Schroeder live from the Little Rock Air Force Base tonight with the very latest on the situation there. Melissa?
Well, guys, just hours after the FBI director said there were probably thousands of ISIS followers in the U.S. online, the security level raised at bases all across the country, including right here in Arkansas. We haven't seen this level since the 10th anniversary of 9/11, so this is certainly a serious issue we're dealing with. We want to bring in Lieutenant Colonel Keith Moore with the Arkansas National Guard. He's going to just kind of break this down for us. What does this mean? What are you doing here because this, you have this increased threat?
Well, as the situation you mentioned with the DOD information that came out this morning, we are adding some increased force protection measures. So those, of course, are security measures here, not only at this post, but the other posts and facilities all across the state.
Does this mean anything for just regular residents who are out in this area? Are they going to see any difference here at the base?
Well, it could just be that they'll see a little bit of traffic backup during the hours when people are trying to access coming to and from work. So I would say pad their time a little bit to try and, to getting to and from work and getting access to the post.
And then just how serious is this threat?
We take every threat seriously. So we plan and train, and so any opportunity could present itself, so we have to be ready.
Okay, thank you so much, Lieutenant Colonel Moore, and I'm going to have much more on the story coming up tonight at 10 o'clock. For now, we're reporting live in North Little Rock. Melissa Schroeder, KARK 4 News.
Families of murder victims getting some closure thanks to Little Rock police making arrests in all but one of this year's homicides. KARK4's Leah Uko joins us downtown at the police department with why they say citizen cooperation was a big help in getting these criminals off the street. Leah?
Yeah, that's right, Ashley. They say they believe more and more people are getting tired of the senseless violence in the city and the bad reputation it's giving. They also say more people are being courageous and speaking out against this violence in order to prevent any more crimes from happening.
The day broke one family's heart, finding out so-called friends of 27-year-old Gabriel Carter tried to rob him before shooting and killing him.
I was trying to find a way to not make it true.
Reality of Carter's death hits at his funeral Friday.
He called him home, so I'm at peace with that. He's praying for us because we still have to endure here.
His younger sister, Nisha Ward, says she feels some sense of security knowing Little Rock police arrested one suspect.
And I'm blessed that we still had a victim here to ID that person, because without her, we wouldn't have anyone.
It's a feeling other families of homicide victims in Little Rock this year share.
4 to 6.
Lieutenant Cindy Allen says, with exception of Friday morning's homicide on 23rd and Valentine Streets, police have made arrests in 10 murders committed in 2015. The department credits its homicide unit officers.
They don't just stop at the 1 hour mark and go home. They stay, work 18, 24, 36 hours straight.
And brave people who too want to see more justice and less violence in their neighborhoods.
We go in and we know nothing about the case. So we are heavily reliant on witnesses or people that know the victim to kind of come forward and tell us some information. And fortunately, we've had people that were willing to do that.
He adds the arrests haven't led to convictions yet, meaning these cases are still active.
And we'll still want people to come forward with any information because everything is vital.
But Nisha says she does get some closure, putting her brother in the ground, knowing one of his accused killers is behind bars.
And Little Rock police are continuing to follow up on leads in Gabriel Carter's case in regards to that second suspect. They continue to thank the community for helping them out by speaking out and hope that this kind of relationship continues forward because they cannot do their jobs on their own. We're live in Little Rock. Leah Uko, KARK 4 News.
Leah, thanks very much. Two ladies very happy to be alive this evening.
I'm thankful it was just a warning, shot, but it was enough that people started coming out of their apartments. And
they wanted to be good Samaritans, but it almost turned deadly. KARK4's Stephanie Sharp spoke with both of the women. Steph, how did all this begin and how did it end up there?
Well, let me just tell you, Bob, Tracy Spears, that lady that you just saw there, says her daughter recently gave birth and her daughter's best friend, both of them were on the way to the hospital just to visit her. Now, they were running some errands before that, and they stopped at Oscar's liquor store in Maumelle to pick up beer for Spears' husband. The two noticed a young couple walking down the road. The man approached the ladies, asking them for a ride for him and his young pregnant girlfriend. They took the two to an apartment complex in North Little Rock. Now, that's when things took a turn. The man held out a gun, fired it, and put it in Spears' face, carjacking the car. Now, of course, the ladies luckily were able to get out and were able to get out safely, but Spears' car did not. The man and North Little Rock police ended up getting into a high-speed chase. Police were able to catch up with the two. The man, 18-year-old Ethan Shandell, was arrested and taken to the hospital. Now, the girl is a minor, so police have not yet released her name. Ashley?
All right, Stephanie, thanks very much. A body found in a creek in the capital city today. Little Rock police say it was found on the 5400 block of 49th. No word yet on whether this was a man or a woman. Officers say they couldn't find any obvious signs of trauma. The body is now being sent to the state crime lab for identification.
New information on a man facing murder charges today. Brandon Moore entered a not guilty plea in district court today. He was issued a $100,000 bond. Moore was arrested Thursday in connection to the late April death of Cortez Farrell.
And Little Rock police are investigating an early morning shooting in the city. They say it happened in the 2300 block of South Valentine. The victim has been identified as Jonathan Brown, who police found dead suffering from a gunshot wound. Still no word on a suspect.
And members of a church congregation who say their pastor duped them out of money and failed to tell them that he was a sex offender say they're worried about the safety of others now that he has been released from prison. KRK4's Marcy Manley has been following this story, and she's joining us now at the very latest on this. And Marcy, the woman who originally raised a red flag here with concerns about the pastor's identity, you spoke to her. What'd she have to say about all this? Got to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, it definitely is, Bob. She said back in July that Bishop Jacob Taylor had forged her husband's name on a check for a business they were starting together. That check bounced, and they began digging into his history. In the meantime, they called us, and it was discovered Jacob Taylor was Carlos Norwood, a level 3 sex offender. Norwood was picked up on a parole violation and put back in the Arkansas Department of Correction, but on Wednesday, he discharged his sentence. He spent a few hours in jail at Pulaski County for new charges of failing to register as a sex offender, which he faced before the parole violation. He bonded out of there too. Brenda Blakely, afraid his time out of jail will allow him to find more victims.
I don't think he's capable of abiding by the rules. I think the judge and anybody that was a part of his release, I don't think they understand who he really is.
Taylor was convicted in 2004 of third-degree sexual assault against a 15-year-old member of his church. He's also been convicted of forgery, hot check violations, theft of property, and failure to register as a sex offender in the past. Since he's been released from jail, he has 10 days to update his registration address with law enforcement on his whereabouts. And I spoke to Taylor by phone just a few moments ago. Keep in mind, he just got out of jail, so we had to track down his phone number. Taylor denied the allegations that he forged a check in the Blakely's name, and he also claims the charges against him regarding his failure to register are untrue. He says law enforcement and the justice system have railroaded him throughout this process. Taylor's next hearing for those charges is on May 21st. He adds he's a good Christian man trying to live an upright life. Back to you.
All right, Marcy, thank you very much. Little Rock Police and the U.S. Marshals getting an early start this morning to make sure sex offenders in the city are living where they say they are. About half a dozen teams spent the day knocking on doors of level 3 and level 4 sex offenders, those that are considered high risk of violent recurrence. According to the department, 2 warrants were served for offenders failing to comply with registration requirements. 73 offender addresses were verified. 33 others will need further verification because offenders weren't physically at the home.
The Conway County Sheriff's Office is looking for a woman who escaped from jail. They say Amber Garrison walked off from the women's unit in Morrilton. She was last seen in a gray hoodie with black lettering, black pants, and slip-on shoes. She also stole a car. Officials believe Garrison may now be in the Yell County area. If you think you've seen her, contact the Sheriff's Office.
From the dangers of dating violence to correcting cursive writing, we explore the new lessons to be learned by your child this upcoming school year.
And a mix of clouds and sunshine and a few showers and thunderstorms across Arkansas today. Here in Little Rock, we ended up with 3/100 of an inch of rain, 82 and 72 the numbers for the day. We're going to keep the highs in the 80s at least for now, but also bring in a lot more rain over the next couple of days. We'll let you know when to expect it in just a couple minutes.
From the station that brings you local news that matters, this is KARK 4 News at 6 in high definition. With Bob Clausen, Ashley Katz, Chief Meteorologist Keith Monahan, and Aaron Peters with your Razorback Nation report.